Hey, I'm Allison Hare, a former corporate executive on a quest to live, work, and play in full alignment and helping others do it with me along the way. Welcome to the Late Learner Podcast, where we explore game-changing and proven approaches that just plain work better for you. So what are we late learning today? Well, coming off of a bold challenge that I did last week. Seriously, I actually did something called the Bold Challenge, or at least I offered it for my community. And what I noticed is that you have a whole lot of big dreams and ideas that you're just sitting on. And I know this feeling. You have so many big ideas, big hopes, big dreams, and sometimes where to start, how to find the time to do any of it is totally overwhelming and daunting. So you just put it right back on the shelf and say, maybe later when things are different. Maybe in the spring. Maybe when the kids are back in school. Maybe when the kids are out of school. It is one of those things that you just keep kicking the can. So how do you make your biggest dreams come true? Today, we're going to solve that problem, and I'm going to help you do it. And not only are we going to help solve that problem, it is a problem that can be solved now because everything is designed around micro changes that have macro impact. No more putting it on the shelf. So let me just rewind from some of the big wins from the Bold Challenge last week that I thought were really, really powerful. And what has happened is some of the participants from the Bold Challenge last week, I had one person make an appointment for financing for her new dental practice, something that she had been exploring and kind of had in her dreams for so long, but it hadn't quite started yet. I had another person who really wanted to focus on their confidence and they joined Toastmasters. Somebody started a personal training business, and another brave person took a good hard look at what quitting drinking will do in their life. Wow. And I had somebody start a swim team. I had another person decide she was ready to write a book. Can you believe this? This is big stuff that you've taken on from a free 4-day challenge. I am super proud of everyone who participated, but it had me thinking, what are these big dreams that you keep pushing away or shoving underneath the bed until some other time? What it told me is that all these things are kind of lurking in your body and just waiting to come out, right? And you just are waiting for the right time, and there's just no great time when all the lights are green on the freeway at the same time. We're going to really focus on this today. This is truly going to be a masterclass. I have packed it, really, really packed it to the hilt that you're going to get a ton of value and you're going to be able to walk away from this episode with actionable advice that you can start doing immediately. And a lot of this is mindset too. And what I want you to do is I want you to really allow yourself to dream again without the pesky practicality getting in the way. Because the truth is, we talk ourselves out of a lot. And as women, we can delay gratification for a long time. And you know what? At some point, it just doesn't serve us anymore to shut everything we want down because we don't know the way yet. Now, hold that thought. It's time for the good stuff, and we're going to dive right back in. What is the good stuff? STUFF stands for surprisingly true, useful, fun fact. And what I found from the University of Warwick, they had done some research in Coventry, United Kingdom. And what they found is that orangutans, is it orangutan? I'm not sure, but I'm going to go with orangutan. Orangutans are capable of beatboxing just like humans. And they appear to be the beatboxers of the jungle, making two sounds at the same time, which is kind of rare. And scientists say that making these sounds simultaneously are similar to songbirds or people who perform this vocal percussion that mimics a drum machine. So I bet you're wondering, what does this sound like? Cool, right? Now let's get back to your big dreams. Let us play with some ideas, shall we? And here is the thing. There's one very fundamental thing that needs to happen before you do this. And that starts with the word enough. Have you had enough of the same old, same old? And I want to be clear. This is not about being so depleted and like hitting rock bottom. And I really want to point this out. This is not about being not grateful for all that you have. And one of the conditions of the people who generally are listening to this podcast, and maybe you feel this way, do you feel guilty for having so much and still wanting more? And is that the reason why you've kind of put it away for now? And I desperately felt this guilt and gratitude thing. When I was in my corporate career, I made great money. I had stability, stock options, savings, vacation, kids in private school, a happy husband, a healthy family. I had the title, the company name on the resume, and all of this. Like, I have so much to be grateful for. And yet I was freaking miserable. And I didn't know why. It was like I was just in the wrong lane. You know, if I was in the right lane, I could go farther faster. It was like I was wearing the wrong size clothes. And there is something to be said about guilt and gratitude. And I wonder, do you relate to this? You have so much. Why isn't it enough? What can calm your restless heart? And why is it restless? So let's dig in for a minute. One of the things we've been conditioned to do, I want to talk about this restlessness for a second. Whether it is through hustle culture, the productivity driven value that we have, or even as females to continuously prove yourself in every single area of your life, especially for people of color. And what we've been conditioned to do is to not listen to your body and get shit done anyway. And a perfect example is you wake up sick and you have a ton of stuff to do. What do? You say, well, I don't have time to be sick. I got to get stuff done. And you just ignore it and plow right through it, for better or for worse, right? And what happens is the more we do this is just one example, right? Like, there are a lot of infractions. There are a lot of ways that we can ignore the signals that our body are telling us. And what happens is this causes disconnection in your body. We do this over and over and over again, or just, kind of straight up ignoring the warning signs. And have you read that book? There's a book called The Body Keeps the Score. And the truth is, it really does. And at some point, those stored emotions, those feelings, those sickness, that angst, that anger, the resentment, all that uncomfortable stuff you've pushed aside again and again has to come out in some way. That expression of anger comes out. And the truth is, energy cannot be created nor destroyed. It just shifts into different form. So how do we use this energy for your benefit? First, have you had enough of the old? Are you ready to create, design, and own a new reality? Just like designing a room, you get to design the rest of your life. You get to do this. You choose. And it doesn't mean you have to quit everything like I did, blow it up and start over. But it does mean we are making micro changes for maximum benefits. So it's much more accessible, right? You can do micro changes. Of course you can. So here's where it starts. You ready? I want you to do two things for me right now. I want you to write down 8 to 10 new realities you would love to accomplish or own. Now, there are two caveats here. The one caveat, and this is a really, really important one. First, if you, I just want you to write. I just want you to write whatever comes out of your head. Do not polish it. It doesn't matter. This is just for you. 8 to 10 realities. It could be something big. It could be something small, but kind of go big, right? But just have that. The other caveat is that these are not 8 to 10 realities that you're supposed to have, things that you should have. What I want you to do, and use discernment is these are true desires of yours, things that are going to completely light you up. So let me give you an example. If you think you need to do weightlifting 3 times a week to lose weight, okay. The other part is if you absolutely hate weightlifting, don't put that on your list. Do not do it. And let me explain why it won't work, even if you do pursue it. But remember, I said that the body keeps the score. And when the body is in a stressed out place and so you're fighting the grain, right? When it's in a stressed out place, it holds on to fat because it feels as if there's a threat. Like that fat is storage, right? Like storage in case you need it. And so when you're stressed out, it holds on to that. So when people say, I need to lose weight, and they're so stressed out, it doesn't matter what you do. Even if you get surgery like I did, like plastic surgery, you got to manage the anxiety first. You got to make sure that you're kind of in the flow as much as you can. That's when the weight comes off. That's when all the stuff you want happens. And, let me, I know that here's a more fun way. Here's a more fun way and an exciting alternative when, everyone you're on in social media, everyone's telling you weightlifting is the best way. It's the number one way. It's true, on how to lose weight, on how to, gain muscle is really to lose weight and lift heavy, right? Like that's number one. And when my mother, like back in my mom's exercise heyday, this is like Jane Fonda time, like Jane Fonda's workout. There's, like there was weightlifting, which girls didn't do back then because that was for men, not for women, right? And then there was aerobics and tennis and swimming and running and not a lot else, right? Now the fitness industry has proliferated to so many creative and fun options available for adults. Acro yoga, trampoline workouts, rowing, stair climbing, wall crawling, megaformer, dance fitness, pickleball. In fact, there is a dance studio near to me. I'm in Atlanta. And I think this is so cool. This dance studio is designed for people with and without physical disabilities. It's called Radius Dance. How cool is that? I mean, honestly, there is something for everyone. So ask yourself, what is an exercise that feels really fun for you? For me, I have found, this is going to sound, I bet you're not going to expect this. I have found so much joy and so much release from playing racquetball, not with anyone, by myself. And ever since I was a teenager, this has been a source of inexplicable joy for me. I don't know the rules. I've never played with anybody else. But at some of the lowest points in my life where I just needed to get some energy out, there aren't a lot of places around that offer racquetball, like usually in big membership clubs, which I'm not typically a member of some of those fitness clubs. And I would find a nearest one. I would pay the $10 drop-in fee or whatever it is. And I've got a little racquetball. I've got a racquetball balls. And I would go put my headphones in. I would turn a Cascade playlist on. Cascade is like an EDM artist, and just get lost in it. And I would just whack the ball for an hour. And it felt liberating. It burned calories. It helped with hand-eye coordination, and it got me moving. And overall, it moved that stuck energy around and out. What a release. So what movement does that for you? Start trying new things. Make your default yes instead of no. And I'll explain what this means because my husband and I have been having conversations about this a lot. My husband's default is kind of no, if it falls outside of our normal routine. And so we have actually been having discussions because when I say, why don't we go to whatever mountains 2 hours away? And he's like, no, because it's too far. I have other stuff. You know what I mean? Like, unless it's in some close radius, the answer is no. And so I don't know what your default is, but if your default is no, let's try on yes. Let's make our default yes and see if we can get creative over what that means. So what are the big things that you dream about? Is it a happy marriage? Is it a new career, a new relationship, a side gig, a new house? Maybe you want to move to a new state or a new country. Maybe it's healthy relationships with your kids or starting a club, start a nonprofit, volunteer. Maybe you want to build a community or start a new business. Maybe you really do want to retire from working and become a yoga instructor. Now, as I'm saying this, if all the bells in your head are ringing right now, they are shouting at you. No, you dummy. It's not practical. That would be nice, but it'd be nice for you, Allison. You could do this or someone else. That's for someone else. I am too stuck. I don't have time. I'm not brave enough. I'm not an extrovert. I'm too introverted. I'm afraid. I don't have the money to do what I want. I want you to take, if any of those thoughts came into your head, I want you to take extra special care right now, not to turn off this podcast episode right now. And what I want you to do is I want you to lean all the way in and listen to what I have to say next. I want to be very clear. Those alarm bells are your mindset stopping you. That's not reality. I mean, certainly there are circumstances and conditions everyone has that present different levels of difficulty. I'm not ignoring that. But the doors you continually close around you because you assume it's not possible is truly the poison that kills your dreams. And this kind of stuff requires a really high level of self-awareness and honesty with yourself. I'm going to say that again. The doors you continually close around you because you assume it's not possible is the poison that kills your dreams. And we're bringing your dreams back to life here. I am advocating for it. I'm going to help you every step of the way. And I know this because it's what I've done in my life. And I left my corporate job last year. I didn't have any plan. And I was so burnt out. I was so depleted. I was beyond depleted. I had no idea how burnt out I was until I was a lot of months away outside of it. And it was scary, really. I mean, back then, I wasn't sure if I would ever have the energy to figure out a better future. And what I learned in the past year is that there are so many other micro choices you can make right now that will have macro impact on your future. So in other words, you don't have to quit your job and start over like I did. And I can help you get there much faster. So you've got your big dreams written down, right? Good. First, I want you to emotionally connect with those dreams and notice any limiting belief that might come up and replace it. Replace it with a more positively serving one. Let me give you an example. And a limiting belief that I've struggled with is I don't have the degrees I need to truly help somebody in this capacity. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a therapist. I'm not licensed in any of those things. And, have you got caught in that too? Like, I don't have the letters at the end of my name comparison. I am not good enough. And again, that's the limiting belief. I'm not good enough. And, this is a big one. And I promise you, my goal is not to perform surgery on anybody's body. Yes, those need some legitimate letters, degrees, practice, experience, all of that. But I replace that limiting belief with, damn, I have so much experience solving this problem. Not only for myself as a busy working mother, I have already helped so many people already through this podcast, through this blog, through my mastermind, in my working life, in my personal life. And Rory Vaden is somebody who says all the time, he's built his whole business, brand builders group off of this. You are most powerfully positioned to help the person you once were. So when you think about the experience that you have, the steps you've taken that could help people that might be a few steps behind you or just beginning their journey, you can make a huge impact for those people. So I think it's time to widen the aperture and know that everything you want is possible for you. But you have to be a match vibrationally, which requires continued intention and thought in replacing those. I call it the replacement theory. And really, two of the foundational principles of everything I do start with permission and intention. So Let's be bold, shall we? We're going to talk a little bit about permission and intention. Bold is an acronym and guiding force that can change everything for you with the permission you give yourself to make the efforts, because obviously you have to make some efforts, right? You have to do something different. You can't keep doing the same thing and expect different results. You got to do something. You got to make some micro changes, right? And then they get bigger and bigger, and then having the intention around it. So if you are having trouble giving yourself the permission, and it is hard for us to give ourselves permission because our lives in a lot of cases are owed to other people, whether it's our family, whether it's our work. This is designed to, again, keep you in the center. You are aligned, right? You are the center of your universe. You are the glue that holds a lot of things together. So we got to make sure that system is right and connected. And I am giving you permission. All right. Sometimes you need to borrow someone else's confidence to get you there. So who cares where it comes from? We're just going to do the big thing. So let's start with B for bold. B is bet on yourself. We are writing a new story for yourself, and one that you are creating and designing to be just as you like it. And when you bet on yourself, you absolutely need to stretch out of your comfort zone. Comfort equals stay the same. Discomfort means you get to stretch out of familiar territory. And I call it fractures of light. And I believe that people that come in my world are not broken. There is nothing wrong. There is nothing to be fixed. They have simply outgrown their container. That's the restlessness. That's why it feels so uncomfortable. It's like, and that fractures of light, is like when you've outgrown your container, the little eggshell around you starts to crack, but there's light coming through. And so it's time to push on those cracks and see what else can you bring in. Bet on yourself. Bet on yourself. You are worthy and you are capable. That is the big bet that I took leaving software sales. I had no idea how this would play out. And good Lord, it has been a damn high wire walk. I am not going to lie to you. This has not been easy. But I knew deep down I had every ingredient to make this work. And I want you to kind of think through that, because studies show that 80% of the thoughts that go through our head are negative ones. How many times do we say, I can't do that. I'm not ready for that. I'm not good enough. And it's almost like that replacement theory, right? So, but I knew deep down, I really could do this. If I had like the right mentorship, I don't know, the right steps, I don't know. But I knew deep down I could do it. So I just was like, I'm going to make a run at this. I'm just going to do this. Remember, everything starts with micro choices and micro habits, and they get bigger and bigger. And that may look like setting a boundary for you or having the tough conversation, prioritizing your needs more and more. Again, you're the glue, you're the center. Surrounding yourself with mentors that can help you and people who are like valued and you can support and they can support you. So I want to talk for a second about mentors. It's really important to find people who are a little bit further on the path from you that can help get you there. And it's also really important to have like valued people in your circle as well. Like valued is different than like-minded. Like-minded can be an echo chamber and can lack diversity. And diversity is incredibly important to build a wider aperture and to shift perspectives to ones that are greater, right? So like valued means maybe finding mission-driven people who share similar values to you. This is critical. So that's B, that's bet on yourself. O is for own a new truth. This one is super fun. In 2020, I was 45 years old and I stumbled on a dance fitness class and I felt like I was struck by lightning. Not because I picked up the moves. I didn't. I still don't. I'm not a great dancer at all. I don't, but because it felt so liberating to spread my arms wide and take up more space than I was used to. And I remember this is so crazy. So in that first class, right? And I felt like the lightning bolt struck me. I remember asking myself, remember the negative thoughts that go through our heads. Am I allowed to feel this good? Which is super fucked up, right? Am I allowed to feel this good? I was at the height of my burnout and was not used to it. And it was almost like, again, the dancing and my podcast and my family were three fractures of light that they were. And again, that started with permission of trying something new and being allowed to feel that good, and I was so enamored with this feeling that I became addicted to this movement, this dance, this type. It's called Rebel Groove. And it just felt like freedom. And so I became a dance fitness instructor after 6 months because I wanted to give this freedom to anybody that came in my orbit that was also wanting that freedom as well and feel this good. So when people ask me if I was a dancer, I would say no. I'm not a real dancer. I just move my body, like a clown. I don't know. Why do we do that to ourselves, right? It's stupid. It's all about the practice. If you dance every day, you're a dancer. If you write every day, you're a writer. If you draw every day, you're an artist. We seem to reserve a moniker for when you've reached some arbitrary award or milestone. But I say, assume that moniker early, assume it often, and embody where you want to be. State it in the present. You own your own practice. You are a personal trainer. You are a designer. Own your new truth. Write it down and embody it. Feel it in your body. Now, I want to say before we finish out the BOLD acronym, you might be wondering, how do I make this happen for real for me? I am so busy and it can get so overwhelming to turn this into a reality and do it consistently. Like, it's fine to hear this on a podcast, but putting it into a practice every day is a new muscle that needs to be exercised and have some accountability along the way. And so I've created the Effective Collective Mastermind to make these dreams a reality over the course of 90 days. So if this is something that's pulling at you, or if it is kind of speaking to you, I would listen in and, maybe chat about it. And maybe if it's not me, let it be somebody else. And that's okay. Like I am part of a community where we have tons of people doing masterminds. I can help find the right mastermind for you. But if you're like, Allison, what the fuck is a mastermind? Masterminds are a small group of people who want to grow at an accelerated rate over a defined period of time. That is like the John Maxwell, I think it's John Maxwell's definition of it. So in the Effective Collective, it's designed for moms who have too much on their plate and are ready to prioritize themselves again. So what we do inside the mastermind is we get clarity, we create a vision, we create time and space to create a strategy and focus and execution. And we do it in a way that flexes into your life. Like it is designed for the busiest of people. And so it isn't like a learning curriculum. This is like a doing curriculum. And so we do it with purpose. We do it together. And I even have a money back guarantee. That's how successful this container has already been for our members. So if you're craving an opportunity to build true and honest relationships with people who get you and are, kind of in the same frame of mind, they're going in the same direction. And I also want to say, if you're in this position where maybe you start to look at the circles that you're in and you feel like, I don't know if I have as much in common with some of the people, or if they're going the same pace and the same rate. Like I've had people in my life that look at me like I have to explain what I have to do because they're looking at me like I have 50 heads. And I'm like, these are not the people that I need to spend time with. And so it's really important to be intentional with the people that you are surrounding yourself with. So, having that expert mentorship kind of guide you through your next season, I would jump on the opportunity to apply right now. Our next cohort starts in mid-August and there are only limited number of spots available. So get on my calendar, go to AllisonHare.com/collective, and the link is in the show notes as well. Again, no obligation. We're just having an exploratory call. And if my situation is not right for you, maybe I can point you in the right direction. But I don't want you to take it from me, just me, about the Effective Collective. Here's what Jessica, one of my members, had to say about her experience. This has brought me more joy and more production to every area of my life. I now have clarity on what I want to do and more focus and clarity at work. It has given me more strength and confidence to say no where I didn't have that before. I can now carve out time for me, and this has helped my family get closer. I love Jessica. And honestly, creating this container of the Effective Collective has been such an honor to see their lives transform. And I always say that the secret is not time management, it's energy management. And we do that here, and that spills out to every area of your life that matters. And if this is speaking to you again, let's have an exploratory flow call and mini strategy. Go to AllisonHare.com/collective. Now let's finish out bold, shall we? B is bet on yourself. O is own your new truth. And the L is super fun. Now let's be honest. We are all professional stalkers, right? Yes, we are. The L, learning, allows us to stalk with purpose. L is for learning. So let's take one of your ambitions, just one of them, and let's go down a Google rabbit hole and see what you come up with. I want you to go in with an open mind, though, not like the shutting down of like, oh, it's been done before. No. This is not where we operate. We operate as you are one unique person with a unique set of experiences, and you are ready for something new. And so I want you to go in with an open mind, not let those alarm bells go off again, because we are owning a new truth. Go on Reddit, find stories of others who have done it already. And here is what's going to happen. Here is like the magic, right? It's going to start to spark new ideas that are accessible for you. Like, for instance, when I became a dance fitness instructor, I wanted to find a place to teach. So I went on a local Facebook mom group and I asked if anyone knew of any business owners that owned a gym or fitness space or owned multi-purpose spaces where they might be looking to add a dance class. And so I immediately got connected with options and I started a class within weeks. There's so many bite-sized ways to make massive things happen in your life. And then the D is for do it. Do it.
Do it. Just do it.
You may not know this about me, but in my 20s, I was in Mary Kay Cosmetics. And yes, I'm serious. This is a crazy story. My upline person took me to the mall and said, this is when I first started, I'm going to teach you how to recruit and talk to strangers about the opportunity. And while we're talking on this podcast, as I'm sharing this, it still makes me cringe. But it was actually some of the best sales in business and life training I have ever had. My mentor told me what to say. She pointed at a lady who was dressed professionally in a suit and said, go talk to her. I had never done anything like this before. I was quaking in my heels and I was like, oh my God. All the alarm bells, right? Like, oh my God, don't be an idiot. What are you doing? But my mentor was watching me. And because she was watching me, I couldn't back out of it. And my ego was so freaking big. I didn't want her to see me stumble. So I just freaking did it. Again, the power of having a mentor and someone in your corner pushing you along, right? Like, it's hard to do this stuff alone. It's so much easier when you've got a community of people supporting you or a mentor or somebody else. And so I just freaking did it. And I actually went on to become one of the top recruiters in the entire Mary Kay organization. I went all the way up to number 2 in the company. And I was a 6-figure earner. I built a team of hundreds of people over the course of 5 years. And while I have absolutely no interest at all to ever be in a multi-level marketing company again, I really did have some of my biggest life lessons or learned some of my biggest life lessons. And I built some rock solid relationships with people that I worked with all that time ago. Being in the right community of supportive people can make all the difference for you. So now that you've bet on yourself, you've owned a new truth, you've learned about your next steps, now it's time to do it. Do something, anything to move you forward and continue taking each step, one foot in front of the other. In the bold challenge, I said, okay, what's your next step? What is the first step you're going to take? Okay, what's the next one? So let's do it. So bold is a recipe you can do for yourself again and again and again and again until you find your confidence soaring because you did bet on yourself. You can have everything you ever dreamed of. And my plea to you is to take those dreams off of the shelf, put them into full focus, and go for it. You can't bet big and play small. You cannot bet big and play small. And I'm here cheering you on every step of the way. If you want my help along your path, don't sleep on it. I'm offering not only the mastermind, but if you prefer one-on-one support, I haven't done this in a long, long time, but I am opening my calendar to work privately with 3 individuals to walk with them and guide them as they make their dreams a reality. So make sure you book a call with me. Let's see what we can build for you. AllisonHare.com/collective. And that is a wrap. That's a wrap for today's episode of Late Learner. I've linked all the info in the show notes, including how to apply for the Effective Collective Mastermind for the mamas ready to not take their next steps alone and go farther faster together. If you got any value from this episode, will you please text it to a friend or 5? And while you're tapping away, be sure to leave a written review as it helps people find me and it helps me make a better show for you. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next time.